Can a movie be really strange and you have no idea what's going on, yet you still find it oddly enjoyable? That's the kind of test this movie puts you through. Vivarium stars Imogen Poots and Jesse Eisenberg as a young couple trying to buy a new house in this development called Yonder. In this development, all the houses are the same and all the streets are identical, and there doesn't seem to be anyone else around. This unsettles the young couple, but when they try to leave, they find themselves back to where they started, and with no choice but to stick around. Whenever you tell me a movie's gonna be weird, 9 times out of 10, you immediately have my interest. I'm not saying I'm gonna love every movie with a bizarre premise, but if there's one thing I can at least say, it's that I'm more than likely guaranteed a unique experience. No matter how good or bad the movie is, there will be at least one weird thing that's so out there that it will resonate with me once the movie's over. And that was the vibe I got from this movie when the trailer circulated. A dark, sci-fi movie with a bizarre premise and comedic undertones. So that alone had me interested, along with the fact that it stars Imogen Poots and Jesse Eisenberg, especially since they were reuniting after starring together in another bizarre dark comedy, the highly underrated The Art of Self-Defense. There have been a few movies so far this year that felt like a one-of-a-kind experience due to how they delivered their bizarre premise, and this is certainly another movie to add to that list. So let's discuss. So, this movie surprised me a bit. Even though it's about these two characters trying to escape this creepy town, a lot of the focus is on what residing in this town does to their mental state, and it shows the psychological effects it has on both of them. And that's one of the big things that kept me invested. Both Imogen Poots and Jesse Eisenberg are really likable in this movie. We get a glimpse of what they're both like in their normal day-to-day lives, and these opening scenes showing that get you interested in them pretty quickly. They're both pretty charming from the get-go. It's also nice to see Jesse Eisenberg in particular be more relaxed instead of being that usual nervous, awkward character that he's known for playing. Not that all those characters are bad, but when he's allowed to let loose for a bit, like in the Zombieland movies, he can be a lot funnier than usual. And that's the case here. Imogen Poots, I haven't seen a ton of her movies, but from what I have seen, this is probably one of my favorite performances of hers to date. She gets a lot to do here. There's a kid who she and Jesse Eisenberg are forced to raise, and she ends up spending more amount of time with him than Jesse Eisenberg does. And this is a strange, unruly kid who she can't connect with at all, and it bothers her to no end. And seeing her grapple with this consistently throughout the movie was really great to watch, especially for just how committed her performance was. There's also a lot of unsettling imagery in this movie and a lot of bizarre occurrences, between this weird real estate agent to some of the things that play out on TV. Some of it's played for some off-kilter laughs, especially the way in which our two leads react to some of these things. Though a lot of it can be pretty creepy and borderline uncomfortable at times, in particular the boy who they have to raise. A lot of the noises that are made and the sounds that are heard add to a really tense atmosphere, and it can send chills up your spine. It was a really great job here. I like a lot of the ideas brought up by this movie and a lot of the weird scenarios these two characters would be placed in, but I felt the movie never followed through on explaining some of these strange things enough. Not that I'm saying a filmmaker should hand everything to their audience on a silver platter so they don't have to think about anything. It takes some fun out of the experience. I'm even fine if it leaves things open-ended because, done right, it gives you something to think about when the movie's over. But this movie starts off in a shroud of mystery and just stays that way. We never get any clarification as to what some of these strange rules of this world are. For example, any inhabitant of Yonder, the new development, seem to be able to imitate any person they want perfectly. Like, they'll speak and it's Jesse Eisenberg or Imogen Poots' voice coming out of their mouths. Don't know why that is. Another example, the kid that these two are raising ages very quickly from a toddler to an adolescent in a matter of a couple months, and we never get any real answer as to why that's a thing. A lot of scenarios are presented to us, and because we never get any sort of visual indicating how these things came to be, or any line of dialogue saying how something might be possible, it's like we're being told to just accept these scenarios and nothing more. It's kind of like anything goes and we just have to roll with it. The movie raises more questions than it answers, and sometimes that's a good thing, but in this scenario, it doesn't work out so well. I'd say the good ultimately outweighs the bad here. As a weird sci-fi thriller, this movie does give us some unsettling scenarios, even if it doesn't explore all of them as thoroughly as it should have. But as a character piece, looking at how a bad situation can take its toll on even the nicest of people, this works really well. And that's especially thanks to some really solid performances from both Imogen Poots and Jesse Eisenberg. It's an uneven movie, but one that I still managed to enjoy. Vivarium gets a 7 out of 10. I think the oddball scenarios can be off-putting for some, but there is a little something more if you're able to stick with it. So it can be a rewarding experience. But let me know, did you see Vivarium or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Did you enjoy the performances? Did you find it creepy? And what's one of the strangest movies that you enjoyed? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, if you like what you see, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time.